Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to make a quick video about learning Korean, and specifically about learning Korean in Korea. Because a lot of people have the idea that if you move to a foreign country, that you'll automatically be able to learn the language really quickly. But it's not entirely true, and there's still a lot of work that goes into learning a language, even if you are completely immersed in it. So today I want to give a few basic tips for learning Korean, and then I'm also going to highlight the main study activity that I did to learn Korean. My first tip is about learning hangul. Some people ask, should I learn hangul at the beginning? Should I learn it a bit later? And I would say for most people, the answer is learn it as soon as you can. Because firstly, it's quite an easy writing system. It was designed to be easy to learn, and overall it's really intuitive and generally considered to be one of the better writing systems in the world. And secondly, because the English romanization for Korean is not very good, and it will lead you to pronounce things in an unnatural and in a sort of an English way. So yeah, as soon as you can, you should learn how to read Hangul. My second tip would be to buy a basic beginner's textbook and just read through it. You don't even need to take notes or do the exercises. I would say just read through it like you would read any other book. And the idea here is to get a general overview of the language, a general understanding of how it works, and to sort of learn about the language before you really jump into learning the language itself. I used a textbook called Practical Korean, and it doesn't really matter which one you choose, but at the end of it you should kind of understand the basic word order of Korean, the way that the particles work, like n, n, or lul, some basic vocabulary, and some kind of basic grammar structures. You don't have to practice them or take any notes or anything like that. You just have to kind of know that they exist and know generally how the language works. The third tip is about the politeness levels. Some people ask, which level of politeness should I focus on? And I think generally the most commonly used one, and the one that will be most useful to learn at the beginning, is the one ending in yo. You don't really need banmal, because it's going to be a while before you start making younger friends in Korean, and you don't even really need the ending with 습니다 or 합니다, because in most situations yo is polite enough. So yeah, I'd say definitely focus on yo. The other reason is, if you can learn how to speak with yo at the end, it's quite easy to learn the other politeness forms after that. My last tip is about learning with Korean dramas and Korean films, because a lot of people really enjoy these dramas, these pieces of material, and they also want to learn Korean using them. And I think that's a good idea. I think that's a really useful source of authentic content, but you have to keep in mind that these are really difficult to understand, and they're a really high level. So it can be really frustrating as a beginner to try and watch these Korean dramas or films and to not really understand much of it. So with that in mind, I would say definitely go ahead, watch Korean dramas, watch films, do all of that, but don't get stuck down in them, and don't use them as an active studying material. Just watch them for enjoyment. And you'll pick out words here and there, you'll learn a few things. Even if you want to look up a few words in the dictionary, that's fine, but if you sit there trying to dissect every line and look up every word that they're saying, you're not going to enjoy them anymore. So just watch them for fun. So now I want to show you what I think is the most useful study activity you can do. In this activity, you'll take a piece of native content, that is content that's not dumbed down for learners. Even though it might be made for learners, it's supposed to be natural, native, authentic content. So you'll take a piece of content like this, you'll begin by understanding very little of it, then by dissecting the text and repeatedly listening and reading again and again. At the end, the idea is that you'll understand most of it. And from there, you can take this piece of content and use it in the future again and again, listening over and over, reading again and again, to become really, really familiar with the sentences, the words, and all the structures inside. By doing this activity with a wide range of content, you'll get a wide exposure to different topics, different sentences, different grammatical points, and it's a natural way of learning a language by exposure, by just getting as much content as you can. So I'll show you how we do that now. Here, I'm going to use Talk to Me in Korean second channel, Talk to Me in 100% Korean, because on their main channel, it's mostly videos in English about Korean, whereas this channel is videos in Korean. So the condition for using a video for this method is it needs subtitles in the original language. You can actually find that on YouTube if you go to filters and click on subtitles/CC. This will only show videos that have subtitles, but you don't know which language it's in. So I found a video we can use. This one has subtitles in Korean, as you can see, but first we're going to turn them off and simply watch the video from start to finish. When I did this when I was learning Korean, sometimes I would only understand maybe one or two words, or like understand maybe the general gist of what they're talking about, but that doesn't matter. You're trying to get a benchmark for what you can understand and picking out whatever you can. So we're going to watch it from start to finish.
안녕하세요 여러분, Talk to Me in Korean의 선현우입니다. 네, 그러면 오늘은 치매에 대해서가 아니고 건망증에 대해서 이야기를 해봤고요. 다음 시간에 다른 주제로 다시 돌아오겠습니다.
네, 여러분 다음 시간에 만나요.
안녕히 계세요.
Okay, so after watching the video from start to finish, you may have understood a lot, you may have understood basically nothing, but now we're going to jump into the meat of the study, which involves using the subtitles. Now, there are two ways to do this. One is to simply turn the subtitles on and watch it with the subtitles, but I prefer to have the subtitles all together in a transcript. And that's quite easy to do with YouTube. You can just click these three dots, go to Open Transcript, and it'll give you the whole thing together. From here, if you just copy the whole transcript, you can put it into a website that will remove the timestamps. I'll leave a link to this website in the description, but you just copy it in, click the button, and you get the full transcript with no timestamps out here. From there, just put it into a Word document or whatever you want to use, and we can go to the next step. So now we have the whole transcript in a Word document. I also like to use Notion for this kind of thing to keep things organized, but Word will work fine. And now we're just going to read through and mark down the words that we don't know. So let's just start from the start. 안녕하세요, 여러분. Talk to me in Korean의 선현우입니다. 안녕하세요, 최경훈입니다. 경훈씨, 안녕하세요. 안녕하세요. 오늘 주제 잊지 않았죠? Okay, so let's say we need to figure out what the word 주제 means if we haven't seen it before. I'm just going to highlight it and go to Naver Dictionary and look it up. So we can see from Naver Dictionary that it means subject or topic. From there we can go back to Word. We can select the word 주제, go to review and a new comment, and we can say that it means subject. And then we just keep going. 잊지 않았죠? Okay, maybe I've seen this word before. I know it means forget. So we see the sentence, today, subject, forget, not. And maybe we don't know the ending, 죠. We're not sure what 죠 means. So again, we can look this up. This time, when we go to Naver Dictionary, we're going to look up just 죠 to see what we see. And we see on Naver Dictionary that it shows the ending, 죠. Again, we can click on it and it gives us an explanation for what it is. Now, these explanations are not always helpful because they're kind of abstract and hard to understand, but they can give us a bit of a clue to what it means. So here it says, used when the speaker confirms and says something the listener thought she already knew. You can see all these different explanations for it, which have kind of different nuances. Used to ask something that the speaker already knows, to cross-check the information. So maybe this explanation makes sense for the example we've seen, in that they're saying, you didn't forget today's subject, right? So again, we can highlight it, and add a comment and say, it means right, like that. And make it yellow just so we don't forget. And from there, we've broken a pretty short sentence down into some useful things. We found one new word and we found one new ending that we can use. And yeah, you're going to go through like this for the whole text. If it's a long video, like 10 minutes is actually quite a long video. It'll take a long time to go through. So I would say you don't have to look up everything. Only look up things that you think are important to understanding the meaning of the text. Okay, so once we've read through the text, we're going to go back to the video and we're going to watch it again, but this time with the subtitles on. So by now you should have read the whole subtitles. Again, you might not understand it. You might still have bits that you missed. That's fine. You should now just understand a bit more what the video is saying. So yeah, now simply watch the video with subtitles. That's all you do.
안녕하세요 여러분, 톡투민 코리안의 선현우입니다.
안녕하세요. 최경은입니다.
경호씨 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
오늘 주제 잊지 않았죠?
Okay, so you'll do this for the whole video, just watching it and reading the subtitles. But you'll notice, one, it's quite fast. But the idea is to match what you hear with what you've already read. So you can connect your listening comprehension with your reading comprehension. A useful thing about this, especially with videos, is that you can hear a bit more the intonation. So when he says that sentence we looked at before, 오늘 주제 잊지 않았죠?
입니다.
안녕하세요. 최경은입니다.
경호씨 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
오늘 주제 잊지 않았죠?
You can hear the intonation. He says it in a very specific way. 오늘 주제 잊지 않았죠? And with that, you can kind of connect it a bit better. It means you didn't forget it, right? In English, we use a different intonation, but you can hear it a bit clearer when you connect the dots with the listening and the reading. So we're just going to go through, watch the whole video again with subtitles.
네, 오늘 주제는 절대 안 잊어버리려고 노력했습니다.
네, 오늘 주제는 특별히 경은 씨가 고른 거잖아요.
제가 골랐어요?
네.
오.
본인이 골랐다는 거를 지금 잊은 거예요?
네.
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 나는
생각합니다.
꼭 건망증에 대해서 이야기를 해야겠다라고 말했던 기억이 있어요. 네, 그러면 오늘은 치매에 대해서가 아니고 건망증에 대해서 이야기를 해봤고요. 다음 시간에 다른 주제로 다시 돌아오겠습니다.
네, 여러분 다음 시간에 만나요.
안녕히 계세요.
Okay, so now we've watched the video again with the subtitles, and hopefully you understood a bit more than last time. Again, you don't have to understand the whole thing, just a bit more than last time. From there, you can watch it again. You can watch it again and again, many times, and through this repetition, you should get a good understanding of all the things that you've marked down in your transcript. Now, for some of the more complicated grammatical points, you might not really get it. You might not really understand why they say it a certain way. If you really can't understand it, just skip. It's fine. It doesn't really matter. Because if it's something important, you'll see it again and again in other videos, and you'll see it repeated many times. And through that repetition, you'll get a more intuitive understanding for what it means. So it's more important just to absorb the content of the video than to understand every minute detail. The idea is that after seeing the same grammatical structure again and again, so for example, if we find this grammatical structure, she says 오늘 주제는 절대 안 잊어버리려고 노력했습니다. This is a grammatical structure 뭐뭐리려고 노력하다. And it's a bit more advanced. It combines sort of two words and it might be a little hard to understand. But after seeing it a few times and realizing that it is something that's commonly used, you might look it up somewhere online or you might look it up in your textbook. And after having seen it in context, then seeing the grammatical explanation, it'll make a lot more sense. So yeah, you don't have to worry too much about understanding everything. Just watch the content and break it down, see what you can gain from it, and then move on to the next one. After spending quite a lot of time with this one video, that's not the end of using the video. In a few days, you should go back and watch it again with the subtitles to remember the things you learned and to really kind of internalize them. And I would say then watch it again, maybe a week after that, and then maybe 2 or 3 weeks after that. It's useful to keep a playlist of all the videos and audio files that you've used to study so that you can always go back to them later and just review them, watch them, listen to them again, maybe read them again, just to really get that repetition and to go over the things you've learned. But yeah, that's all you really need to do. This method is designed to be as natural and as intuitive as possible. It's really quite simple. It's just watching a video and breaking it down, but focusing on that repetition and also not worrying too much if you don't understand things. Those are sort of the two main things you have to keep in mind when doing this. But I hope this video was helpful. If you have any other questions or any other concerns about learning Korean, you can leave them in the comments and I'll try and help you. Or if it's any other questions about learning other languages, you can feel free to leave them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. But for now, I'll see you in the next video. See ya!